After waiting 15 minutes, we're back. See, us free speech subscribers are being treated like second-class citizens.
Oh, no.
You know why? Because we don't pay to use the site, so I guess it's only fair. I might have to find another site. Cheap bastard I am. I mean, come on.
Look,
who is going to wait 15 minutes?
I don't know. Maybe you should actually pay them their... What do they charge to upgrade?
I'll have to take a look. Do I even do enough shows anymore to make it worth it? Not really.
No, but... I'm just in general, like... I think we're very much used to and we're very comfortable with the internet being free. Facebook is free to join. Twitter is free to join. And I don't know if that's sustainable. I mean, you look at... I mean, especially like you look at Facebook, you know, they went public and everyone asked them, where's the money? You're not actually making any money off of this. Where's
Mark Zuckerberg's a billionaire.
Yeah, from investments. Investors keep throwing money at these things, hoping that one day they'll be able to monetize them. But so far, they're doing a ridiculously bad job at it.
Okay.
Google's the biggest one that manages to actually turn a profit. And that's because they control the advertisements that everyone else in the world sees, and they very much get to charge for that.
Well, you have a story for us, right?
Oh, but of course. This is a story about discrimination. This is a story about discrimination against women. Against pregnant women, specifically.
Ooh, I like.
And why pregnancy should count as a disability.
Okay.
And I won't read the thing word for word for you because it's actually a pretty long opinion piece. But essentially, there's a lot of women who are feel they're discriminated against because of their pregnancy, where they're not given special conditions. One woman, for instance, her doctor told her to avoid going out in the heat. During the...
Well, what do you want us to do? Change the weather?
No. It's the... I mean, she worked for UP, the Postal Service. She worked for the Postal Service, and while they would give special... Well, they would keep actually disabled people indoors, but they didn't think that her pregnancy counted as, strong enough, a valid reason to get special treatments. They sent her out anyways in the middle of July.
Oh.
There's talk about bathroom breaks.
You can control whether or not you want to get pregnant, in theory. You don't decide to go out and become disabled.
Yes, but once you are pregnant, that has to happen for the human race to continue on into the future.
Yeah.
That's not something, it's like, people just shouldn't get pregnant if it's going to be this much of a hassle. Like, this has to happen, and at some point, we as a society have to look around and say, making babies, building the next generation should probably be somewhere toward the top of the priority list.
We have so many people on this planet.
Yeah, but you still need to keep making more of them.
Ugh.
If everyone just shrugs and goes, not feeling it.
There'll be enough unplanned ones. Condoms will break.
Yeah, and then those people will be the ones screaming about disabilities.
Oh, yeah. God. But anyway, go on about the whole bathroom breaks or whatever. Pregnant women have to pee a lot.
Yeah,
you all know that.
Yeah,
about as much as I do.
Yeah. And, and then bosses get tired of that. And managers, why are you always taking bathroom breaks? It's like the smokers.
Yeah.
It's like smokers that, can't go an hour without taking a smoke. They're not reliable. And they're, burning a lot of time. So on the one hand, you can see why that'd be annoying to have someone who's pregnant on the workforce again, but at the same time, that's not something they can necessarily control. And one woman alleges that she was fired because of this, because she kept having to go to the bathroom, and then eventually she had to ask permission to go to the bathroom, and then eventually she was just fired altogether. And so I get the big picture that they're trying to sell is that women who are pregnant are discriminated against in the workforce and not given.
Well, they're already free to leave and get paid.
Not necessarily.
That's pretty good. Maternity leave?
That's not everywhere. That's company specific, dude. That's not a guaranteed right.
Well, I mean, this is a tough issue for me. Because ultimately, you're not doing the company any good by making babies.
No, but these people are, again, providing a very necessary service for the continuance of the human race.
But not the continuance of the company, necessarily.
No, but it costs money to raise a baby, and they're still capable of working, just under slightly more limited conditions.
So then maybe they should if they're disabled, then maybe they should collect disability from the government and not be paid by the employer.
Or maybe the government should protect the people from the companies that.
Okay,
it's very easy.
If I'm running a business,
if you're looking at it,
and half my workforce gets pregnant, what's going to happen to company productivity?
Half your company's not going to get pregnant. That's a ridiculous scenario.
I guess so. But I mean, you see my point. You don't see my point at all.
10 guys and 10 girls, and they just happen to all meet up in that same closet, and then.
Okay, say I own a Hooters.
Okay.
And half my waitresses get knocked up. Who's gonna? I have to go out and hire more servers and pay them, along with paying the people who are sitting at home? Well, no, that's a bad point, too, because you collect tips. That's how servers make their money.
But I don't know. I think Hooters is a little bit different because that's... They're really weird just because that's very body-oriented, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I've never been to a Hooters. I've always wanted to.
I went there.
How'd you like it?
The food was good. They exaggerate. They get the best, the brightest, the most beautiful onto the calendars, and when you actually go there, it's sort of a mixed bag.
Some of your servers are really hot, and some of them aren't.
Some of them are pretty hot, and some of them are not.
Was your waitress hot?
Not particularly.
That sucks.
but my point is that I feel like that's probably, I don't know. I think that's different, just because that's a job that's entirely based on your looks, and I think going into it that's the conditions of your work. I don't know if they're allowed to put that in contracts, but
whereas if you're a teacher, you're a government employee. You should be able to go on maternity leave and come back and get your job.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean... like U.S. Postal Service. That's government.
Yeah. But... Diana Teiglin's doctor... the lady she was ordered to stay inside. Doctor's orders to stay inside. USPS wouldn't actually let her stay inside. And then offered her no paid maternity leave.
Well,
I mean that's government, and she got screwed.
It's
Not
funny.
a lot of ways around
when
that.
you brought up this story before, when we were in our show prep, which if you can call it show prep,
hey,
certainly
counts.
if we were paid to do this, we'd have to take this more seriously. Shit, if I was paid to do this, though, I wouldn't be spending 30-something hours a week working somewhere else. I mean, I could devote all that time to this show. It'd be better. But anyway, that's another conversation. That's another point entirely. But anyway, the whole... You made it sound like this was a joke story. And that's why I agreed to talk about it. And I thought I was just going to completely ridicule
I thought it was
them.
a joke story, but we're getting into this.
They've got some decent points. I mean, I don't think it's a disability until maybe your third trimester. I mean, I'm no expert.
Yeah.
And I do know that when you're like even 3-4 months pregnant, you get really queasy at, when it comes to smells. So, if you're working in a cubicle, your people within your office should not be eating sardines. Of course, I still stand by that even if you're not pregnant. Smelly food. I can't stand smelly food. Bold flavored Chex Mix is a good example. My brother loves those. Absolutely disgusting.
Okay.
I have a sensitive nose. Us people with AS on the spectrum, we have heightened senses. All 5 of our senses. We're more sensitive to every sense, just naturally. My eyes are more likely to get disturbed by, bright lights. I'm more likely to be sensitive to obnoxious noises, obnoxious smells, everything. It's a wonder that I love spicy food so much. I guess I've kind of conquered taste.
Do you want to do a wrap-up?
Yes, let's just
Big points.
transition to something else, one way or another.
Okay. Big bullet points for me and then you. I think this is something. It's easy for for businesses to just it's just numbers to them. It's not really an issue, and that's why the government needs to have a presence in this. Needs to look at it and go.
Don't you think it'd be harder for women to get hired if the government came down harder on businesses for this? Because then when it's a man versus a woman in a job interview, they'll think to themselves, oh, I don't have to worry about a man getting pregnant and getting paid for 6 months of absence.
God, dude, that's freaking depressing.
Well, you know what? It's not nice, and I'm not a fan of it, but I'm just trying to be real about it, okay? Because
that falls. I think that's discrimination, and I think that's
but you can't prove that discrimination, can you? It can't be proven.
It's hard to prove a lot of this stuff.
But think about it. When you're talking about productivity,
is...
if you have 2 equal candidates, man and a woman, and they are equally qualified, which one are you going to hire? They're both, say, 26 years old, looking to get married and have a family. You hire the man. Because he's not going to miss 6 months of his first year on the job to have a kid. Here's another thing.
So on the off chance...
If you've worked at a company long enough, you should qualify for maternity leave maybe after a year of employment. You shouldn't be allowed to just get a job and leave after a couple of months. You gotta earn that respect.
So on the off chance, the off chance that this specific woman that you're looking at gets pregnant.
26 years old is prime age for getting married and starting a family. It's a priority for people. Have kids and have a successful job, but also have kids, which there's nothing wrong with. But
except that you're clearly just trying to say that there is something
I'm
wrong
not
with
saying
it.
there's any. I'm saying from a company's perspective, it is not your job to care about someone's personal life.
They shouldn't have to ask. You hire the most qualified person because that's...
I said equally qualified. Man and woman are equally qualified. You pay them each the same. Yes, I'm talking about paying them each the same because equal pay is important for equal work. But it's not equal work if you're at home.
You can't discriminate against...
You have 3 kids in 5 years.
You can't discriminate against
That's
people
maternity leave for like 1/3 of your employment.
You can't discriminate against people based on hypothetical future scenarios.
Well,
you don't know what that person's going to do. You don't know. Maybe they'll stay single forever. Maybe they already had kids. You don't know their story. It's not your business to know their story.
So you wouldn't think about that stuff when I'm talking absolute tie. Like they are both equally, and I mean 100% equally qualified. Okay, you know what? I might go to personality at that point before I would go to maternity who would fit in better at the office? Which one has a better sense of humor? Oh, the female person laughed at my jokes. She's hired. So, it's just, there are certain realities you can't get rid of. As much as you want to end all discrimination and make things completely free and equal, you can't do it completely. It just can't happen. But you know what can happen?
Okay.
You can go to Massachusetts. You can find someone wearing a revealing skirt. Take upskirt photos.
And then walk away chuckling.
And because they're technically not nude, or even partially nude, it's considered okay. That's in the state of Massachusetts. I don't even think upskirt shots are that hot. I mean, ooh, here's one layer of clothing, and underneath them, here's another layer. Woo! I mean, unless you're wearing a thong, and that would display the ass, then you're partially nude. That is a partial nude photo, so at that point, wouldn't it be illegal?
I don't know. I mean, I can see why just doing something that you know is wrong could be attractive. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Just, it's not about the picture taken. It's about the taking of the picture.
Well, here's a statement made by Justice Margot, or whatever.
Margot.
Wait, so is this a male or female? I thought this is a female name.
Yeah.
It's a female. Okay, this
Margot.
is a female justice making this statement, this ruling.
Okay.
A female passenger on an MBTA trolley who is wearing a skirt, dress, or the like covering these parts of her body is not a person who is partially nude, no matter what is or is not underneath the skirt by way of underwear or other clothing. So there you go. There's no laws in the books right now that makes these photos illegal.
Should there be?
That's the question. Some people say yes. Others say no. I mean, as much as my biased side wants to say, no, keep them coming, I can't honestly make a logical argument for why these should be allowed against a person's consent.
Yeah.
Because they do become partially nude photos.
I'm surprised.
I mean, it's a thing on porn websites. Upskirt is a category.
Yeah.
It's a fetish.
You walk around with a camera on a stick and just do. Like, how do you? Oh, sorry, I dropped my phone. Oops.
I mean, as much as I want to say, oh yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, I can't do it.
It's non-consensual.
I can't do it without being an absolute sexist pig.
Good for you. You can slightly restrain yourself.
I mean, it's not like upskirt shots are that hot. It's not one of my fetishes anyway. I've got other interests. But, okay, you know what? I guess that wasn't as much of a topic as we thought.
It's.
You got something else for me?
Someone tried to reveal the founder of the Bitcoin. Have you heard of the Bitcoin?
I mean, the term sounds familiar.
It's an online currency where I think you pay real money to get the digital currency. And the idea is that it can be traded basically almost untraceably from person to person without any transactions and without any real actual money be trading hands. So in theory, it's a really strange. It's a roundabout way to cleanly traffic in drugs and other various illegal substances and items.
I'm hungry.
I
just got a feeling of
story.
No, I mean, I just started getting hungry while you told that, and I'm just like,
you're so invested. Thank you.
That stupid dog picture that my friend posted earlier has 2 likes now.
God. You're okay.
Somebody's at the door? How can you stay calm at a time like this?
Dude, I can barely understand you. I don't think the microphone's going to pick that up at all.
Okay. Well, anyway, something about Bitcoin. I didn't even know that was one of the stories you were going to talk about. I thought we had stories about someone suing.
It wasn't at all. Do you want me to pull up one of those? I was going to save them for the next part.
Okay. Well, I was going to condense things a little bit.
Okay.
Because this whole 15-minute thing is pissing me off. This whole thing has been a downer.
You want me to go to it?
Yeah, let's talk about this gambler.
Alright. The headline is, Gambler Sues, says he lost $500,000 playing drunk in Vegas. Surprise.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. If you want your money back, you gotta sue in Vegas.
Okay, a businessman who lost $500,000 on table games at a Vegas casino on Super Bowl weekend is arguing that he shouldn't have to pay because he was blackout drunk.
Well, shit, what if you win? Then you don't get any of your money. Has to work both ways, right?
Nevada law bars casinos from allowing obviously drunk patrons to gamble and from serving them comped drinks.
So then I guess what I just said is...
is they're not supposed to give you more alcohol once you're already plastered.
There you have it. He gets his money back. Or at least some of it. Whatever he lost before he got drunk. They had to determine how much money he lost before that. And at what point he was too drunk to continue. And at that point, he should not have been allowed to gamble. And if they, knowingly violated rules and just, took advantage of him, I mean, hell, if I'm not allowed to have sex with a drunk woman and take advantage of her, which is understandable, neither, I don't do neither. Why did I say neither? I never say it that way.
Just because.
Neither should a casino be allowed to take advantage of a gambler and his or her money when they are not able to make conscientious decisions, because you're dealing with $500,000. That's almost as sacred as one's body. Think about it. How much money that is. How much of your livelihood is there?
There was
that's just right under.
There was someone who straight up sold their virginity on Craigslist a couple years back.
Yeah, I heard about that. I actually had a
Did
friend
you bid on
who
it?
but I actually had a friend who suggested that we capitalize off that and sell my virginity, but make it a YouTube thing. We were going to do that. It was this one. It was this friend that I went to Specs with, who had this idea, and then it didn't happen. Because I would have had to have had sex with whoever the hell the highest bidder was. So we were going to limit it to females, but
that'd be something.
But other than that, it could have been anybody. So, and technically, I think that would have been illegal. Well, no, you're not selling sex; you're selling the virginity. You're paying for the company. You're not paying for the act of sex itself.
It's a very thin line.
If you film it, it's pornography. It's not prostitution. So if I ever have sex with a prostitute, I'll film it. Just film it.
That's the secret to everything?
Yeah, because at that point it's pornography. Providing the prostitute is, an adult, 18 or older, which is, quite frankly, the only kind of prostitute that I would ever want to have sex with, despite what others may claim.
Others.
Justin.
I should have guessed.
Yeah. So
he thinks you're.
But no, seriously, as ridiculous as that sounds, if you're not, you can't make those decisions. Don't you think this is comparable to if you can't give consent to have sex when you're drunk and you're not allowed to suffer the consequences and society's going to protect you there? Then it should be the same standard for stuff like this. Do I necessarily agree with it?
I would want to know how...
Not completely, but...
I would want to know how drunk he was when he went into it. Because if he was already really, really screwed up when he went in...
He shouldn't have been allowed to start. It's like, dude, rest up at your hotel, come back tomorrow, and lock the keys to the minibar. If there are even keys, which I don't think there are. I think you just go crazy, and then they bill you like... They
Way
bill
too
you,
much.
and it's just like,
Way
what
too
the
much.
fuck? How much should I spend? Oh, shit. I'm not going to be able to buy groceries for my kids. I'll just
children.
kill one of them. Let's see.
We'll have more kids.
Who's the reject? I could never do that. If I had a kid with someone and the kid died, I'd feel too weird going on to reproduce with that same person and be like, hey, you know what? You were supposed to have a brother, but he died 2 years before you were born. That would just be too weird for me. Also, if I was ever with a woman and she got an abortion, I mean, I'm pro-choice, but
that's still weird.
There'd be no more kids after that. It's not like, well, we can try again in 5 years. It's like, no, we abort this one. You and I, as in the two of us, are never reproducing. You can go on and have a kid with someone else. I can go on and have a kid with someone else. But as far as I'm concerned, our DNA shall never mix again.
Why?
Because then you're discriminating against the unborn. Your second one gets to live, but your first one dies. No, thank you. You're laughing at me, but
I don't
I think this is one of the most ethical, serious, nice things I've said in this. I mean, I said some pretty sick stuff earlier in this part, but I think this is a mature stance.
I'm not.
It's my conservative side. Yeah, I have a little bit of a conservative side.
It might be ethical towards the kid, but I don't think the woman in the picture, I guess, would really.
Like I said, she has a right to the abortion, but I'm never going to have a kid with her. After that.
That just seems like a rock and a hard place kind of scenario. That's a trap.
I wouldn't feel right. I wouldn't tell her that if I didn't want to have the kid. It's just, you move on after that stuff is over. You don't just get back in the saddle again.
I know, but never?
I guess I can't really know because I've never been in the situation. How did we get to this?
I don't even know.
We got 3 minutes left in part 2. Coming up in part 3, one particular girl who was supposed to get a nice vacation after her parents won an age discrimination lawsuit. Well, guess what? That all got pulled out from under the rug because she couldn't keep her damn mouth shut. We can thank Facebook for that. And we'll try to have a nice conversation on the dangers of Facebook and all that good stuff and stupidity. And then, in part 4, yes, we are going to do a 4-parter.
We are?
Yeah, why not?
Do this?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
We got to do Yahoo Answers. The whole, shut up. Nobody asked you. After this, I might have to stop doing live shows and just record podcasts. I don't know. I'll have to go back to the drawing board and figure out something. But we got 2 minutes left in this part. Might as well use them. So, Andy, tell me this.
Okay.
How's your girlfriend?
We're really doing this?
I'm just asking how she's doing. I'm not asking just how's your house hunt? Your apartment hunt?
We were gonna get a double, and then our third wheel screwed us.
You hear that, people? You could very well live with the friendly neighborhood fascist and his girlfriend.
No,
we should post an ad on Craigslist.
That's not where I'm going. That's not where it's going at all.
Oh, that would be a fun little publicity thing for this show.
No.
I have a reason for asking these things. There's a method to my madness,
Our third wheel screwed us, and they're out of doubles, so we're just getting a single, and we're moving in together.
See, that's better. You don't want the awkward third wheel. I told you that from the beginning. As a couple, you two should just live together and be adults about it. So, are you just doing a one-bedroom, or are you going to have a guest room?
Just the one.
No guest room?
That's why we have
I see how it is.
That's why there's a couch.
I see how it is. I get to sleep on the couch.
Yes. You do that anyways.
I do.
You do that anyways.
I really
What are you
do.
getting all offended for? It's like my little brother complaining about the floor. That's all he knows.
So yeah, I am going to be sleeping on Andy's couch.
Yes.
For the foreseeable future, because I totally will be spending the night over there all the time, even though I live an hour away from them. And my life is in a different city than his. Makes perfect sense, though, to crash on their couch with a fifth of liquor in hand. We'll be right back for part 3. I gotta pee, though.